In last week's video, we started an impossible mission to name the best coaster for every single country. And when I mean every country, I mean every single one of them. So far, we have covered the continents of North America, South America, Africa, Europe, and Australia. Today's video, we will be covering all of Asia. We will be going by alphabetical order, and we have a ton of content to cover, so let's just get going straight on with the video. Starting off is Afghanistan. I feel like we have a common trend of starting off with bad coasters. Anyways, the best coaster in this country is a Rainbow Rides Freefall. Imagine like a pirate ship, but with coaster trains, or like a butterfly with full-out coaster trains. It looks a lot like that. Next up is Armenia, and there's a whole bunch of nothing. There's a bunch of janky traveling coasters, and this park called Yerevan. This park is home to a Vekoma Boomerang and a Vekoma Family Coaster. I'm going to have to pick the Vekoma Family Coaster because it is completely indoor and is the only coaster I could find a POV of. Azerbaijan has a couple of janky traveling coasters, and that's about it. I would pick the Zamperla Spinning Mouse, but this country is home to a mountain coaster, and honestly, I would ride a mountain coaster with amazing views any day of the week instead of a crappy Zamperla Spinning Mouse. Bahrain is starting off the Bs and is home to nothing much either. Staying on the category of spinning mice, Bahrain's best coaster is one, and it's by Fabri. It's called Himalaya and has the color scheme of Kumba. Pretty interesting pick. Bangladesh is up next and home to a crap ton of family coasters / janky fair coasters. However, there is one extreme coaster here called Roller Coaster at Jamuna Future Park and is by a Chinese rip-off coaster manufacturer. It has a vertical loop, and that's about it. Up next is Brunei. This country was once home to a Vekoma Boomerang, but is not anymore. So what we end up with is a Preston and Barbary Jr. coaster. Not the craziest thing in the world. Next up is a country that probably has the best collection of coasters in the world, and that is China. There are so many great options and a few amazing options that I'm personally not going to choose. For one, I'm not a huge fan of wood coasters, so I'm going to eliminate wood coaster in Python and Bamboo Forest. So the other options come down to Coaster Through the Clouds, Bullet Coaster, Dueling Dragons, Beyond the Clouds, or Dynaconda. Now it's super hard for me to pick this because, if you guys don't know, I hate X2.
Hey yo, what the
It's my number 25, which is abysmal when we are talking about a 4-dimensional coaster. I'm trying to like X2, I just haven't got a good ride on it yet. Despite me hating X2, I'm still going to go with Dynaconda because it's a 4-dimensional coaster. That's about all the explanation you would possibly need. Georgia is up next, and no, not the home of Air Force One. This country is home to one incredibly unique coaster called Express. This is a Pinfari Express, one of the 2 in the world. Basically, it's an inverted traveling coaster with 2 inversions. It looks extremely unsafe, but it's definitely the best option in this country. India is up next and is home to a ton of bad coasters. However, there is a park with 2 very decent options called Magica. I'm going to have to go with the B&M Floorless over the Premier Launch Coaster. I think this may just be the first B&M on this list, which shows how much of a supporting cast manufacturer they are. Anyways, it's B&M, you can't go wrong with them. Indonesia is up next and is home to not 1, but 2 yellow Vekoma Boomerangs on the roof of a mall. Anyways, neither of these coasters are the best one. The best coaster here is Racing Coaster. This is a Premier Launch Coaster that, despite its name, does not duel. Iran is up next and is home to a few extreme coasters. However, I'm not going to go with one of the janky options. I'm going to go with a coaster called Skateboard, and basically it's like a rip-off Intamin Surf Rider. Iraq is up next and is home to a couple of good extreme coasters. The best one here is a Mauer X car that is a clone of the one at Drayton Manor. Israel is home to both a Vekoma Boomerang and a Vekoma SLC. A lot of you have been getting mad at me for doing this, but I'm going to continue to pick the SLC. Japan is up next, and boy oh boy are there options. My top 3 would be Ejinika, Flying Dinosaur, and Haguge. Now my personal preferences are screaming RMC, but Ejinika looks like the most insane coaster on this planet. As much as I hate X2, I will give this coaster a chance to be good, and I think it definitely could be the best in the world. Jordan is up next and we have 2 interesting options. For one, there's a rip-off Chinese coaster with an inversion. Not the first time we heard of that, but there's also a super cool IE Park coaster with a vertical loop. It looks pretty well put together and honestly amazing that they got the full loop in such a tight space. Kazakhstan is up next and has a whole bunch of nothing. The best coaster in this country is an inverted coaster by Fabri called Anaconda. It looks well put together and has a good layout, should be a solid coaster. Kuwait is up next and the best coaster here, you're going to think I'm joking, is Ben 10. And no, this is not a janky coaster, this is a themed coaster to the one and only Ben 10. This coaster has no manufacturer or any stats listed about it. It's located at Cartoon Network World, but looks very half-assed, so I'm guessing this is not a corporate park. Kazakhstan is home to a single extreme coaster, and it's none other than a Chinese knockoff. This one is a little better because it's an Aero corkscrew ripoff, not just a drop and a loop. Take it as you will though. Laos is up next and is home to a singular unknown juggle mouse. How fun. Lebanon is continuing the chain of countries with bad coasters. The best coaster here is a Pinfari Cyclone. Not much to add. Malaysia is up next and has some straight fire options. I think a lot of the coasters at the upcoming Genting Skyworlds can be really good, especially that Dynamic Attractions SFX coaster. However, the win goes to Supersonic Odyssey. This is an indoor Intamin looper with 3 inversions. It's really gas on Merlin, bruh. Maldives is up next and does not share the same good fortune as Malaysia. This tiny island country has a singular powered coaster. Mongolia has yet another rip-off Chinese coaster. This specific one is a 4-ring, meaning there's 4 inversions, 2 vertical loops, and 2 corkscrews. Maldives has a single unknown powered coaster. How exciting. Mongolia is home to 2 coasters, one of them being a rip-off Chinese manufacturer 4-inversion coaster. Still better than a powered coaster though. Myanmar is home to not 1, but 2 rip-off Chinese coasters. The better one is at Natural World Amusement Park because it looks closer to the original Arrow design, and also there's 3 inversions instead of 1. Nepal is home to a family coaster called Dragon. North Korea is up next, and contrary to popular belief, there are coasters here, and half-decent ones at that. The 2 extreme coasters are both in Pyongyang. There's a rip-off Chinese looper and a Zamperla Valere. I'm going to pick the Zamperla Valere because it's a more established manufacturer. Probably not the best ride ever, but definitely the better option. Oman is home to more family coasters. We will pick the indoor one because it looks well put together and it's indoor. How quirky. Pakistan is home to Splash Mountain, Railblazer, and Millennium Force. What an exciting lineup. I'm not joking. The best coaster in Pakistan is Millennium Force. This is not an Intamin Giga, it's a rip-off Chinese coaster. Next up is Palestine, and the best coaster here is called Russian Train. It's a wild mouse. There's no pictures or videos of it, but it's the best thing here. Trust me on that. The Philippines are home to a couple of good coasters. There's the incredibly unique Pinfari Express that we talked about earlier in this video. However, the better coaster is the Vekoma Boomerang called Space Shuttle. Qatar is up next. The best coaster here is the world-renowned Epic Q Coaster. This is the tallest indoor coaster, and that's about all it has going for it. It doesn't look like the most amazing ride ever in my opinion. Russia is up next, and there are a bunch of solid contenders. There's an Intamin multi-inversion coaster and 2 mock Bluefire clones. However, there is this Intamin Blitz that no one has heard about. It's called Shred the Shoers. It's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle themed Intamin Blitz that's completely indoors. It sounds straight fire. Saudi Arabia is next up in controversial countries with good coasters. Now with the addition of Six Flags Qiddiya, this country might have some of the best coasters in the world, but right now it simply does not. For the best coaster in this country, I'm going to go with the Skyrocket 2 called Skyloop. It also has a very questionable color palette. Singapore is up next and has a really good option, and that is the blue side of Battlestar Galactica. This is a new-gen Vekoma dueling invert. I have to say, it's not their best work, but still a really good coaster. South Korea is up next, and there's another very clear winner. T-Express at Everland. This is ElToro's sister. It might just be an even better version of ElToro. Sri Lanka is up next and is home to an IE Family Park coaster. Syria also does not have much and is home to a Pinfari Cyclone. Taiwan is back with the good coasters. There's actually a pair of B&Ms along with a good Intamin and a unique Vekoma. I'm going to have to go with the floorless called Insane Speed. This is a custom layout and somehow the second B&M floorless in this video. Next is Tajikistan, and the best coaster here is a Wild Mouse. Not much to it. Thailand is home to the unbeatable duo of a Vekoma Boomerang and a Vekoma SLC, and to piss the most of you off as I possibly can, I am picking the SLC. Turkmenistan's best coaster is none other than a Pinfari Cyclone. Now we are on to the UAE. This country has amazing coasters. There's a Skyrush type coaster, there's 2 custom mock launch coasters, there's 2 unique Gerstlauers, there's the fastest coaster in the world. I have no idea what to pick. I feel like a child at the toy store. Right now, knowing very minimal information about the UAE, I'm going to pick Flying Aces. It's like Skyrush's little brother. We are on to the last 3 countries. Starting off the end of this series is Uzbekistan. This country is home to 3 competitors, a Vekoma Boomerang, a rip-off Arrow Looper, and a Wild Mouse that smoked a little too much and has inversions. I'm going to choose the Boomerang because Boomerangs are good, and I can't guarantee that with the other 2 options. Vietnam is up next and is home to some really interesting options. For one, we have a B&M sit-down, a Vekoma Firestorm, and a super quirky GCI. Honestly, I'm going to pick Roaring Timbers, the GCI. This looks to be a solid coaster with great laterals and airtime. It's in an extremely tropical environment and looks gorgeous along with the good theming in the queue. Last but not least is Yemen. This country is home to a single extreme coaster, a Pinfari Cyclone with a loop. What a fitting way to end off this series. So that's the best coaster for every single country in the entire world. I hope you enjoyed this series as much as I did. Let me know if you agree with my decisions in the comment section down below, and as always, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.